Hey everybody, your host Elliot J. O'Neill here. Listen, I've just got to apologise at the top of the show because there were some audio issues. There's a buzzing noise on BT Calloway's microphone, and at times, man, the thing just dropped out entirely. But don't worry, we fixed it, and the audio actually comes good again around the 30-minute mark, so appreciate your patience listening to this episode. And anyway, also just wanted to say, hey, thank you for listening to the podcast. Simpsons Index is an absolute blast to make, and we're improving our gear and our recording techniques behind the scenes so we can bring you a better quality podcast in the future. Anyway, enough from me now, so let's hear me introduce myself on my own podcast. The Simpsons Index, an online spreadsheet that is also a podcast. This is the podcast, and here is your host, Elliot J. O'Neill. And we are live. This is episode 14 of the Simpsons Index. And following that great intro, I think I must have to introduce myself as Elliot J. O'Neill. As myself, Elliot J. O'Neill just said, I am Elliot J. O'Neill. And this is the part where I, Elliot J. O'Neill, introduce the people that I will be doing this podcast with today. And first, I have...
I'm BT Calloway. Who the fuck are you?
And you are?
I'm special guest voice Linda Ronstadt.
And we just watched the Mr. Plow episode. Guys, what'd you think?
Guys, what'd you think?
That on a t-shirt.
It's my catchphrase. I think it's even better than never tapping out.
Loved it. Oh my gosh, it was better than I remember it being, which is rare and
Totally.
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
So many laughs as well, man.
Yeah, look, recording these podcasts, I actually just rely on my knowledge of having seen these episodes a number of times to feed the information for the podcast, but for this one, I felt especially inclined to take a shitload of notes because of the jokes. They were so quick, man. This was a good joke-to-second ratio.
That's what I really love with this episode, is the opening is just joke, 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 bam, 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 and then you get a good story and you follow through. It's still full of jokes. It's just not as rapid fire. That's good, because by that point you're having such a good time.
Yeah.
You're happy to just watch the episode play out.
So, yeah, speaking of which, why don't you give us a quick synopsis of this episode?
All right. Well, in this one, Homer wrecks the car, in fact, both of the cars. And
oh, man, that was great.
Season 4, episode 9, by the way, for those playing at home.
Such a good joke. We'll get to that in a second. So, and then goes out and buys a snowplow and begins to make money plowing driveways. He then encourages Barney to, make the most of himself. And Barney goes out and also buys a snowplow and starts a very unhealthy competition between the two of them. And it all culminates where Homer sends Barney out on a, essentially a suicide mission on false information, and, accidentally gets him trapped. So then he has to go out and try and save him. And there's a great, and I've only just really thought of this, a great moment, which I'm going to call I don't know what the opposite of a Deus Ex Machina is, but it's an un-Deus Ex moment where instead of a random element coming in, instead of God himself reaching from the heavens to fix the problem, God himself reaches the heavens to fuck people over.
Right.
Yeah.
Reaches from the heavens to challenge...
It's going to be called like a Satanus Ex Machina or something.
God, though.
It's still God.
Homer says at the very end,
That's a spiteful God.
Yeah, he pulls Barney out of the snow and Barney's like, I'm so sorry, let's be partners from now on. Homer's like, well, great, Barney. From now on, we'll be partners, and not even God himself can stop us. And God's like, oh no, it just melts all the ice. And it's like, wow.
It's a really great ending, and that's probably where the wackiness of this episode hits its peak, is where God literally interferes with their stuff. And, it feels so earned at that moment that you don't care that literally they had God fucking...
Cameo.
Yeah, cameo in this episode.
Just to screw him over, because they said he couldn't.
Yeah, so... starting out with this episode, so it was like most of the act was just a bunch of points leading to Homer getting the plow, but... Again, these jokes are
these are really funny jokes, though.
With such consistent goodness. I said the brine. Mo, don't throw away the brine.
Wasn't he saying something like, I can't believe they'd put something like that into their bodies.
Yeah.
And then Mo save that brine. Chug chug
What
chug.
I really love about this episode is it starts with the Simpsons watching TV, but it starts with the TV of the episode being on.
Yeah.
And I like that Simpsons. I suppose you could call it a degree of being meta in the sense that we're essentially watching what they're watching.
Yeah.
It's just I love that. I can't actually remember what it was. What were they watching?
Oh, at the start of the
I'm
episode.
pretty sure it's Troy McClure or something, but
Yeah, he's parachuting into somewhere. He was previously on. He mentioned Hercules.
He did
the
mention
erotic-
Hercules.
He mentioned that you might have seen me on Hercules: The Erotic Adventures of, which was referred to in the Duff
Was
Gardens
it an
episode.
awards episode or a... Was it an awards ceremony or something?
I
Or
can't remember, but I made
Oh, it's
note-
gone.
Listeners, we apologize for not thinking of this, but this was such a dense, full episode. Like, I've written Smits here, and I'm not sure what it refers to.
It refers to he talks to Krusty the Clown, who's getting a TV movie made of it, and
Jimmy
Jimmy
Smits
Smits
starring
is
as-
playing, which is the worst person possible to play Krusty the Clown, other than maybe Samuel L.
And yeah, I wrote Tiger as well, so that was the bit with the Sumatran tigers.
yeah.
Guys, just watch this
Oh my
episode.
God, I love that bit. Krusty gets mauled by Siberian tigers, and there's a bit where Bart's watching it, and they just casually flip channels, go, they'll be chewing on him for a while.
And timely references for the time that this episode would have aired. It was fuck, I can't think of his dad's name. Robin Thicke's dad? Who was that? Alan Thicke and Ricardo
actually-
Mandelbaum. What was that bit? Oh fuck, I can't
It's
even remember.
really been the beginning of it, so I can't remember what I was referencing.
Yeah, look, I took a bunch of notes in this episode. I can't.
But that's how just fantastically rapid fire the beginning of this is. There's so much so quickly, and you would just stunned into hilarity. You know, it's one of those ones where the first time you watched it, you probably laughed over like 2 jokes because you were so
Absolutely.
locked into hysteria.
And yeah, this is one joke that I only noticed when Homer's like in the car and it's really snowing heavily and he's just listening to the radio and one of the announcers goes, "You're dead weight, Marty." After like a really lacking
Because
joke.
they use the same pun.
Yeah.
He's like, "You're dead weight." No, what I really like, then Homer crashes the car and he gets out and goes, "Well, got him as good as he got me, but he's already made it home and wrecked both cars."
And then the insurance guy comes along and goes, "So this place Moe's that you went to, is this a bar?" And he goes, "Don't say something. What else is open late at night? I was at a pornography store. I was buying pornography."
And that was my point I wanted to bring up, because I watched this episode when I was living in Scotland, and for
Really?
some reason in the UK, they delete the word porn.
No
Really?
shit.
Yeah, they
So
censor
he
the
was
word
buying
porn.
pornography?
No, it literally goes, but I don't say you're at a bar. But what kind of place is open late at night? Cut to the next scene. It's gone. And there's
Wow.
also like an episode of, because I saw that, I'm like, did I just fall asleep for a quarter of a second? Like, what happened there? And then later on, I was watching an episode of Friends where Monica walks in on Chandler. He's jacking off to porn, but he flips
Shark
the channels
porn.
to sharks.
Yeah.
And later on in the episode, he goes, "No, I wasn't masturbating to sharks. I was masturbating to." Oh, that's why. And I was like, "You
Wow.
can say the word porn. It's fine." But there's a British. It must be a thing on British TV where they will not say pornography.
Wow,
Because
interesting.
no sex, please. We're British. So
So sorry, Danny, you got that reference. Have you seen Friends at all?
I've seen my fair share of shark porn.
it's hot.
I love that he's censoring himself as well.
A lot of thrashing.
Why did I write the note kerosene?
Because Homer goes looking for a new car, and he's out in the boonies.
Zagreb.
Shag, detail that bit, please.
Oh shit, man.
So that was Kevlov's automobile.
He's looking. That's some I'll let you do the impersonations. That's the fun part. But he's looking at a car. And he's like, "What country is this from? It no longer exists."
And it gets like 400 kilometers on kerosene. And
400 hectares to the...
On one take of gasoline.
Oh no.
Excellent.
Oh,
Shag, do you
yeah.
have any other quotable moments from this episode, or?
Oh, I This doesn't count, but I tend to sing Señor Plow no es bueno all the time.
Actually, I will just say on that note that
He's going to correct my Spanish,
there's
isn't he?
specific jokes that my mum likes in The Simpsons. I think it's like subverting and absurdism or something about it, but I remember she liked the joke in the monorail episode of "The ring came off my pudding can," like where it just had nothing to do with the rest of the song. She just loved that, and much like the same with this one, she loves the "Mr. Plow is a loser and I think he's a boozer." I just have
Loves that one.
yeah recollections of mum singing that around the house, while she's doing her mum duties.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe she said boozer.
But oh man, so many quotable bits. Just on my list of quoted bits. Do you come with the car?
Oh man,
no.
I really do think that's the most quotable moment in any
That's
Simpsons
a big
episode.
call, but,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
definitely
because that's
one
one of those things where it is actually quotable from life, because that's the kind of thing that,
That's the kind
Skeezy
of-
guy thinks they're being
Not even
original
that,
with.
That's
Yeah.
the kind of bullshit. I'm hilarious. It's when the
that's-
customer says, "Oh, I'm gonna use my spendings, not my savings."
It's when the customer goes, "There's no price tag on it. Does that
Must
mean
be
it's free?"
I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
God, every fucking time. Yeah. So let's move away from that as quickly as possible.
And then the next guy
No
comes up and
price
says,
tag
"Do
on
you
it.
come with the car?"
You.
Another great one where they bump into Adam West. And,
Oh God, Adam West was in his episode.
Yes.
and he just
Oh,
goes into a
dude.
short little
Pure
rant about
West.
being
Beautiful.
Batman. Yeah, I didn't need any molded plastic from my abs. Pure
West.
And why doesn't Batman dance anymore? Remember the Bat 2C?
Okay, so what I love about this bit is how it kind of refers, in a way, back to the monorail episode with Leonard Nimoy, like giving way too much information about how Star Trek worked behind the scenes, and the person sitting next to him was all
Anybody
like,
else wanna switch it?
yeah. So yeah, I like that. That's where they were doing their celebrity cameos back in the day.
Yeah,
It wasn't like, oh my god, this is Jay Leno, and Jay Leno is on this episode.
What do you think, Adam West? It
Yeah.
was more-
Yeah, it was more Adam West being all awkward and weird. Because I imagine that's what a lot of these guys actually are. Why did I write the moment? Before I wrote a note about West, I wrote a moment about Fourth Reich.
Oh,
There's a joke me didn't get back in the day.
for real. The Fourth Reich crash test.
Oh man, yeah.
What the? I mean, for
It's
one thing, the joke is creepy without the Fourth Reich bit there at all.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, man, this is like Nazi experiments.
Yeah, where the crash test dummies crash and like the pillar
they
goes through
move.
one and one of them
Oh.
opens the door and Lisa's like,
That's not a dummy.
Oh God.
this exhibit is closed.
Man, that's creepy.
Yeah.
To get us away from the creepiness, I have Raphael whip noise. So, oh, you gotta check the missus. Hey, yeah. You think you're gonna buy a car just because you made that noise? Sold.
Yep, and Raphael in one of his
Yeah,
many
you have to
films.
buy when Raphael sells to you. You got to buy.
Oh yeah. And one of my personal favorite quotes of, and now we play the waiting game. Now the waiting game sucks. Look about Hungry Pills.
I also wrote down church goons. That
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
we all
Yeah.
wish we were in a position of powers where we could click our fingers,
Yeah.
and then have two goons drag someone that was offending us away.
It's gonna happen. One day it's gonna happen.
Me a table so I can sit down, a la Goodfellas.
Nice.
The sea shanties, oh my god, where Homer's like, how do I advertise my plow business? And the kids are like, oh, advertise on the
Local
channel.
TV?
Yeah, local TV, which is something you 2016 kids won't get these days. But this was a
TV
thing.
anymore.
Yeah, infomercials were a thing, and yeah, the sea captain decided to use the infomercials to sell his sea shanties in the
By the
Navy.
seashore.
Roll the man down, man. Roll the man down.
Yep. What else do your notes
I
say?
can't believe you did it in the Navy.
I actually have one that has a question. When we go to a flashback and Barney first drinks beer, it does this kind of transition scene to scene moment. I think that's a original Wolfman reference. To
Okay.
Where, it goes from human to what. I might be wrong about that, but I feel like that's a reference to something.
It does seem very specific, and
Yeah.
because there's music like outside of The
Actually,
Simpsons
shit,
in it.
It might be Jekyll and Hyde, actually. But again, I'm pretty sure it's a reference to some kind of old school monster movie where goes from man to beast. I'm pretty sure it's Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, because he fully does. Because at the start of that bit, he's all, the equivalent of effervescence is keys, and whatever he says, because he says something really smart there.
Yeah, he's
and
like, here I come.
and then they show like Homer giving him the beer, and then him
And a
drinking the
very
beer, and then
specific
three
transition.
images that sort of fade
Yeah,
into each
yeah.
other, where he eventually gets like the separated teeth and the gaps and stuff, and
Yeah, I'm actually pretty sure that's
Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah.
Because
Like,
Bugs
oh,
Bunny
wow,
did it
wow.
as well for the Jekyll and Hyde episode.
Yes, boom.
Jekyll and Hyde episode of Bugs Bunny episode.
Yeah.
Where Bugs Bunny drinks the Jekyll and Hyde potion and does the 3-shot cameo with
Yeah,
teeth get bigger
same-
and weirder.
same thing, yeah, definitely Jekyll and Hyde now that I think about it.
Oh man, I got to check that episode out.
Or you could go and watch Jekyll and Hyde. Boom!
You're fully embonded licensed, aren't you, Dad? Yeah, I love that bit. What does Lisa say to him before that? I'm a no, I'm a real cheap tightwad. And okay, so getting into almost where Barney gets the idea to use the Plow King, Mo and that are praising him in the bar, and there's the bit about the Iranian hostages. Was that a reference to a real world event?
Pretty
Because
sure it
I'm
was,
not sure
yeah.
about that.
I'm not sure what exactly.
Yeah, so anyway, Barney gets the idea at this point to do his own plow business off the back of Homer, being that his handing out pamphlets for a baby store failed, and like he was sick of wearing a diaper for a living, so
Oh man, don't we all?
He's
so
a
he
metaphor
becomes
for the modern capitalist.
total metaphor for that. And so Plow King comes along and he's like, "Oh, hey Homer, I'm the new Plow King in town." Fucking shoots out his tires, fucking gangster style. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet.
And then he does his video with Linda Rodstand, and then Homer's like trying to come up with ideas to combat him, and he does the 90s rap. And I love this bit because he does the whole cliche, "I'm Mr. Plow and I'm here to say."
Yeah. Has any rap actually used the term "I'm here to say," or was that just white people trying to rap?
No,
Wait.
This is the thing. It's one of those cliches that must be built off something, but I have no idea of its origin.
I'm sure "here to say" was like, I don't think they would have used that cliche if it wasn't like.
It's like I once looked up who was the first person to rhyme "hands in the air" with "just don't care."
Ooh, who
And
was?
How'd you go?
It's I can't remember. It's someone like Jam Master Flash or something like that. It's really
That's two people.
whatever, dude. I mean,
You're thinking of
And the Fury's 5.
Grandmaster Flash.
well, I guess I'm not just down with the hibbity hopping with the bipping and the bopping.
Please tune into Beach's other podcast, the Neil Young Index.
I would do that. All right, let's start with "Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere." That's a very solid track about trying to get back to your roots after becoming rock star.
I really liked. Can I jump in? Because you guys
You
both
have
took
the
notes.
floor.
I've got one
I
left in my
wanted
head.
someone to jump in on that Neil Young bit because I was going to continue.
I know, man.
Until he
I
became
really
an old
liked
man.
The part where the light of God shines through, and the two snowmen melt like the guys from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I think
the Nazis.
I was waiting till we got to references you might not get, but I must have missed that
had
every
to
other
had to
time.
get it before I forgot that one.
Yeah, that's such a good bit. It's so quick as
Man,
well.
and it's so spot on. It is definitely those Raiders guys.
I never thought about that because I only saw Raiders when...
One with the hat, and one with the other thing, and they melt in that the way that where they all creep. Oh, it's perfect. And it's just from the light of God as well. It's so Raiders.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
All right, just before we hit the questionnaire as well, just check my notes, and I wrote a bit called Asphalt, and I was like, what the fuck is it? Kiss my asphalt. Another one that Mum used to quote all the time.
Yeah,
Do you remember watching this episode back in the days, memories of when it aired? What did you
man.
think then?
Again,
This was early.
It's one of those ones that's so early, it is just part of childhood.
Yeah.
I don't remember taking my first steps, and I don't remember watching the first time watching this Plow.
Yeah, I feel like this one is like, it's a comfort food episode. This one reminds me of my family and watching this episode, and my family quoting this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen this so many times.
Yeah, it's just part of life now.
Could you put a play count on it?
137.
Wow.
I don't think that's unlikely, you know?
Yeah.
It's not a 12 views episode.
No, absolutely not. Because like season 4, okay, this probably hit our shores about 93, 94. So fuck, that's 22 years ago. Maybe we've watched this 1 to 2 times a year. Maybe.
It's a lot, man. It's definitely...
Wow.
Definitely. Oh.
22 years ago.
Yeah. Mr. Plow knows. Anyway.
Someone could have been born with this episode aired and done something with their lives by now.
Someone could have been bored and then died.
And they
That's
have.
bleak, man, but true.
Bleak.
Someone could have been born, watched Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then gotten that reference before I did, since this episode was made.
Yeah, so I think we already covered that sort of thing. Like, the jokes that we only noticed on this viewing.
Mostly just the Raiders one, but yeah. It's just one I'm stunned I didn't get before. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't believe I missed that.
And there's a bunch of, Linda Ronstadt, I didn't know who she was at the time, and I only know at the time who she is because Dad's such a massive country music fan. Yeah, I don't know, any other episodes that kind of flew... any other references in this episode that kind of flew over your head at the time, or...?
No, just... I'm just... Since doing this, I'm just impressed at how well structured it is and how well it keeps the jokes, but has a solid plot line.
Actually, this is a weird thing, but we had goats growing up.
It's alright, there's cream for that now.
No, not that. Like actual goats. Like we used to do this thing because there was this a bunch of rocks that our goat used to climb up on, and we go, "Is he okay up on that?" And we're like, "He's as sure as a mountain goat." And we'd always imagine our goat falling off, and he didn't.
You're bad people.
He was sure-footed goat. Do you see yourself watching this episode again?
Yep.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah. Solid. So it comes pretty recommended, you'd say?
Highly.
Yes, definitely a recommended episode.
Yeah, I think we were all killing ourselves laughing in the first half.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
All right, well, let's talk about the wackiness because, I feel like there's wacky elements around this episode, but, the main through line itself isn't wacky.
It's not core to the main storyline to be wacky.
Barney chasing his diaper down the street. Barney in a diaper,
Man,
all
we
over.
have all been there. The job market is tough.
The things we've had to do for money.
Oh, sure. But yeah, the big fat drunk guy chasing his diaper down the street.
Have you ever been that drunk and that poor?
I'm that drunk and that poor now.
I redact my
There's a
sins.
go for it.
Tell him Big Baby sent you.
But, even, the mountain goat bit, and even, Homer coming to his rescue and the thing, it's even if you rewatch the animation, it's kind of he's in that position, so he could have rescued him wherever he is.
How about Homer's truck nearly going, teetering on the edge of the road, and he manages to get it back on by adjusting the radio down.
How about God appearing through the clouds?
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, okay, yep, okay, there's the
I know, we
wackiness.
had a natural build-up. It's where we were going.
A natural build-up to a creationist ending.
Well, like I said, an anti-creationist almost,
Yeah.
And though God descended from the heavens to say, fuck y'all.
But, okay, so there's an example of one where, it was so solid and so good story and good jokes throughout that the ending was fucking ridiculous, but had a good joke around it, so you bought it. Yeah, way too entertained to even give a shit. So the heart of this episode, Homer and Barney's friendship, I felt.
And we get a bit of Homer being a useful provider and a hot lover.
Oh,
He
didn't need the tonic in this episode.
He provided.
Might be a joke that also went over my head. I've heard people say that Mr. Plow
Whoa.
as a reference to...
Whoa, no way. Wow.
Yeah.
But the whole series was based around him having a plow.
Yeah, but he's also got a joke that says Mr. Plow that his wife likes to wear. I don't know if I buy it, but I feel like probably they do.
Feels a bit crude. For this sort of generation of The Simpsons,
True. It's
I'd expect a little more finesse.
It's possible it was innocent, but I do kind of feel like there was maybe a little chuckle around the writers' room for that one. They're like, maybe they called Mr. Plow first, and later on went, okay,
fair enough.
All right. So ultimately, did this feel like an episode?
I saw it coming.
Yes.
Yes, it did.
Yes, I would get yes.
Oh man, how good was the Artie Pie bit
Oh my god!
Like the
There's
next
nothing
frame, he's
outside
upside
as far as
down.
we can see.
Oh
Yes,
god!
but already, what are the ski conditions? We're going down. So
Awesome.
good.
Oh, that
my God.
poor guy.
Classic Kent Brockman. So the new thing with this is that,
New thing.
yeah, I feel like I've been probably influenced, or other guests have probably been influenced by those who've ranked before. So we're going to write all our rankings on a bit of paper at the same time and then show them for each other. So we're putting the microphones down and we're grabbing the bit of paper and text as provided. New spin on the podcast. So we have all written our ranks down on a bit of paper and we are going to show each other right now. You guys are shits.
I wrote QZ, you motherfucker. That's an answer.
Oh, you did. You're a shit.
I wrote the Batman symbol. Come on, man. What greater praise is there?
Oh wait, actually, as a trader, I know the exchange rate, which is Batman symbol to. Oh my god, cubic zirconia died. Is that what you're ranking at? A cubic zirconia?
Pure West.
Okay, one ranking for Pure West. Well, yeah, you did technically pick this episode. Why don't you go first and justify your ranking of QZ?
What's there to justify? We laughed ridiculously in the first act. It then had enough jokes and enough story to carry through to the end. It was just a great episode.
Perfect. How about you, D. Annies?
What?
How about you?
And we're back.
Nodding.
I think this is one of the better episodes we've seen so far. We did just have a solid season 6 episode, but this one just has so many quotes that I don't even realize that I'm quoting The Simpsons anymore.
Yeah,
now it's just part of my
right.
vocabulary.
It's
Just-
just
yeah.
vernacular now.
Yeah, this is just part of pop culture. This is part of our society, I think.
I can't wait without going, and now we play the waiting game. Other sexual characters.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Hungry
I wanted that
hippos.
so much.
And there's no greater measure of a solid episode than something that's defining society. This is Western civilization in an episode.
So yeah, and that's why I'm happy to give it my cubic zirconia reference. I'm happy to give it my
You're giving it bronze,
And we're
aren't you?
back.
Sounds
This
like
is
he's
the
giving it
shittest
bronze.
episode I've ever seen. No, I'm giving it a cubic zirconia because, like, yeah, it has entered our vernacular so much, like, that we don't even recognize it has, and like, we watch back on it now, and there's so much that we are still laughing hysterically at. Like, I almost wish we did a commentary track for this episode because we were laughing really hard.
The commentary track would just be laughter.
Some of the worst episodes are where we break off in conversation midway through to go like, wait, did that make sense? That didn't make sense, right? No, it didn't make sense. Like, and this one, everything made sense. Everything was funny. And that brings us to the next episode. Shag, what'd you pick for our second decade episode?
Our next season is the 11th season of The Simpsons. I am looking at an episode called EIEI bracket annoyed grunt bracket.
Doe. E-I-E-I Doe. Oh, the famous tobacco
The
episode.
famous tobacco episode.
Go.
I think it's going to be a blast.
Fantastic.
Cool.
Yeah.
Everyone write down what you think now and we'll compare it.
You dick. Alright, and we are live, and this is episode. I've already done this bit. We just watched the glove slap episode. Guys, what'd you think?
I want that on the shirt.
And you can buy that shirt from www.thecincsindex.com/store.
It feels like it'll be inviting comments from misogynists. Guys, what do you think?
No, because Elliot O'Neill, I want to have this on a shirt, uses guys in the asexual context.
I know you do. It's just,
And,
we've been drinking. Shut up.
oh, that's the other motto of the show. We've been drinking!
And woo! Privilege!
Shag, as the picker of this episode, what did you think?
I wasn't disappointed at all.
Not at all.
Oh, come on, man. This is...
That's high praise. I wasn't disappointed at all.
Yep, season 11, episode 5, E.I.'d Annoyed Grunt.
I watched the episode and didn't kill myself.
It
Best
was
rating.
adequate.
So, Chad, give us a quick synopsis of this episode, if you will.
Well, oh, jeez. Where did it even start?
Homer was watching the poke of Zorro.
Oh, my God.
This is Zorro
That was
parody.
that was how it started. He was watching a Zorro movie, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Its historical accuracy was just through the roof. Just like, wow.
Wait, shut up. Here come the ninjas. Yep, which inspires him to,
Inspires him to start. He buys a glove in order to slap his way to the top of the food chain. It's like bully or be bullied, and
Sure.
He gets really high off watching the rest of the town quail in cowardice before his bravado,
Nodding.
which is apparently false, because as soon as he tries to slap his way through the convenience store queue,
Yep.
He slaps someone that says, "Sir."
it was
Oh.
inevitable. Realistically, it was
Why
inevitable.
did I think I could slap someone that said, sir?
Oh, he should have done his research. You know, he did not know the man would have said sir. Although
said
the
sir.
KFC suit gave it away.
Yeah, it starts at bolo tie and you think, this guy might be trouble. And then
Yeah.
the rest of the fucking
Yeah.
slave owner
And
outfit
then-
comes along.
Oh my God. And so, Homer runs away from his problems and episode 2 starts, sort of. It's not exactly act 2. I'd say it's almost episode 2.
It does get a very different tone from that point.
Yeah, and then by the time you get to the end of that little sub arc, it feels like the end of the episode. And then they're like, by the way, back to what was really going on.
I do like that Homer, when they were turning back to Evergreen Terrace, and Homer goes, yeah, why do we ever leave? And then pulls in and sees the Southern General. It's like,
Yes.
I do like, at that point,
Oh
you've
my
forgotten
God.
That's the
about
thing.
it, and I do like how they...
It's like if this was like an hour-long episode and it was split over 2 parts, they would come back to that and it's like, oh my God, that's right. That's why they're in fucking Hicksville Nowheres.
Yeah.
And as you pointed out, Beach, they went back to Grandpa's old home, which had previously burnt down.
As we learned in the last Simpsons Index, yes. And
That was a
also-
week ago, and not just this
also,
night.
Someone says to
not
Mo,
convinced.
you've never given
No.
anyone a free beer, but Mo gave Mr. Plow a free beer.
Oh my God, so many continuity fails
I
this
know,
episode.
it's like they don't obsessively watch their own show.
Yeah, it's like they aren't watching years of difference back to back.
So it's for these reasons I'm giving this a participant. No. Anyway, continue on.
Homer grows tobacco on the farm where he grew up.
So that's what this episode is essentially defined by. It is the Tobacco episode. More than it is the Zorro episode, more than it is the
The
challenging
glove slap episode.
Yeah.
You can still call this glove slap. And people wouldn't know.
And by the way, props to the B-52s for doing this episode. As far as I know, it was all of them that
sounds like all
re-recorded.
of
That they even re-recorded the music for it. Like I might be wrong, but like they do credit them as the B-52s.
Yeah, so I assume it's all of them. And it sounds on point in terms of vocals. So, yeah, good for them. Just going, yeah, that's fun. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
So
again,
you're dishonoring my podcast by chewing popcorn through it. I challenge you to a duel.
whoa, we know where that leads to.
Yeah.
Big tobacco stealing your invention.
I thought the jokes in this episode actually picked up when the glove duel sort of started happening. I didn't think they were that strong through the Zorro parody.
Yeah.
There was the thing of,
N,
why did
what
you
does
write
N
it?
mean?
Yeah.
It's just cute. But
Yeah, but the Zorro parody itself, and then it ended with the
I do
like
like
90s style hip hop thing, and like his name is Zorro, and he's here tomorrow, and he's
yeah, I do like what part of stop cutting my dress? Don't you understand?
yeah,
Those
but
who've seen the Antonio Banderas story.
But no, the episode really picks up. And there was the Googleplex thing. Why did we pause at the beginning?
Because the marquee has so many random weird names of things.
Yeah, I'm gonna share it on Twitter anyway. But
And what is that Twitter account, Elliot J. O'Neill?
at Simpsons Index, not at the Simpsons Index, because that doesn't fit in Twitter's character allowance for
Shakespeare in Heat.
It's just
My Dinner with Jar Jar. Face Puncher 4.
Oh, Face Puncher thing. That's what I was trying to get back to. The Twilight thing. What was?
Okay, so I'm pretty sure it's in Twilight 2. Vanilla is trying to make new friends and is like, do you want to go see that movie Face Puncher? And it's like, that was very obviously placeholder dialogue that never got replaced.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the point of the greatness of The Simpsons. What is a half a second reference of a marquee in an episode becomes a partial plot point in a multi-million-dollar franchise.
So it was just Vanilla in that bit. Shovelface wasn't involved yet.
Shovelface was elsewhere. And,
Can I just give a shout out to Screen Junkies at this point? I am a subscriber to Screen Junkies Plus, and I am not being paid for this, but I recommend you do too. Movie fights, gamer fights, TV fights are some of my favorite weekly viewings.
Just real honest trailers.
Oh, honest trailers.
Watch all the Twilights back to back.
With Shovelface.
Vanilla and all the stairs. Anyway. Making moving on gestures.
And we're back.
That's our moving on gesture.
Have you guys got anything else from Tomako?
I like that the Western gentleman who loves dueling has mud flaps of himself.
Yes! Oh my
And
god.
bumper stickers that say, I heart dueling. Only if you demand satisfaction.
That was a good run of, a dueling fan gags.
You specifically told me to write down Sneeds, Seeds, and Feeds.
Oh, okay. Sneed, seed, and feed. I didn't get this joke until Cracked pointed it out. So the sign says, Sneed's feed and seed, formerly Chuck's. So that allows you to fill in the gaps that it was formerly Chuck's fucking suck. Right?
Is it?
Sneed's feed and seed, formerly Chuck's.
Chuck's Sneed and Feed.
Chuck's.
Feed and Sneed.
Because it's Sneed's feed and seed. So then it'd be Chuck's fucking suck.
I mean, it probably is. It's just, why would you not just replace Sneed with Chuck?
If Chuck bought the feed and seed, would it be Chuck's fucking suck or would it be Chuck's feed and seed? It is the feed and seed. If it was Chuck's hotel, if it was Sneed's hotel, it wouldn't suddenly be Chuck's suck and fuck. It'd still be Chuck's hotel. I mean, it might eventually become Chuck's suck and fuck.
You're probably right, because otherwise you don't get a joke out of it. It feels like an extra long stretch for me, but
No, but the sign itself said Sneed's feed and seed, formerly Chuck's.
yeah, Chuck.
And that's where it ends.
Yeah.
Yeah, but because it all rhymes, right?
Exactly. You take it the way you're saying you get a joke. You take it the way I'm saying you get nothing.
Well, look, I never noticed that until it was pointed out by Cracked. Cracked.com. Please check them out. Please, Cracked. Sponsor us. Money? Anyway. This is how Patreon works.
Can we make that a t-shirt? Just money?
Here, sponsor goals. I'll mention you on my stupid podcast.
I'll get your name tattooed on somebody else.
Look, if you give my podcast $100, I will get your name tattooed on my foot. I've gotten worse things.
Dude, really don't say that, because I have $100 and I make up businesses all the time.
I will get your name tattooed on my foot if you put $100 on the floor right now.
Elliot, have some self-respect, yo.
Do you take credit? You know I'm rich and bored enough to do this.
Elliot, have some self-respect, man. Say no to this.
All right, I better move on to the questionnaire before I get too carried away. So look, as
My
far as
wallet's
the
over
storyline
there.
goes-
Don't throw money at his life mistakes.
But my name could be on a foot.
You would be immortal.
As far as foot fetishes go.
Right, we're here to talk about The Simpsons, theoretically.
Okay, so analyzing The Simpsons properly.
Did we finish The Simpsons yet, or are we starting it just now?
And we're back with the Seinfeld index. We just watched the masturbation context.
Oh, man.
Dude, that was the best.
What's the deal with thinking about how you think?
Did you know that he doesn't say what's the deal with at all
I know,
in any of this Seinfeld? I saw it on Crack the other day.
I
It was
read
on
that.
Crack.
It was a parody of his own deal, yeah. That's crazy. And amazing. And do you want to, like, pause and go get a paper towel for the beer you just spilled?
Yeah. Just that towel right there.
So now, onto Inside the Index, where Elliot J. O'Neill has just spilled beer
Don't tell the
onto
fans
his own
that.
rug. Fun fact, he's only got,
Don't tell the fans. He
They'll
says.
have a lower opinion of me.
fans.
Apparently, we've got downloaders in America.
Look, you're getting my name tattooed on your foot for $100. I don't think their opinion of you gets lower. Shag, you want to grab my wallet?
Wait, I should have made that higher because, like, a tattoo.
That's my point.
A tattoo costs more than $100, so that doesn't even cover the cost. No, fuck it. I said what I said. Do you guys remember watching this episode back in the day? What are your memories of it back then?
Specifics no, but I'm sure I went to school the next day and talked about tobacco.
Almost certainly, yeah.
You know.
So look, tobacco does actually stick out in this episode to me, like, really seriously, as a person who's had some serious problems trying to quit nicotine. I've only been able to do it for the last 7 months through sheer fucking just saying no as hard as possible, and even then it's fucking hard. How about you guys? How have you avoided nicotine over the years?
I just repeat Rotten Todd's mantra, smokers are jokers. And that gets me out of every situation involving drugs, sex, and nicotine.
It's pretty good, man. You just feed it to the farm animals.
But no, on a serious note, you know, tobacco and nicotine is a very fucking addictive substance, and like, I think that's where the heart of this episode comes in, with Lisa always being I like how Lisa is the counterbalance to all the, you know, in favor of tobacco stuff that's happening there, is that, hey, I think you're about to unleash an evil on this world, you know.
I'm not even, I think you're about to, literally says to Homer, you are about to run a terrible evil upon the world. I know, but the problem's so big. What can I do?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. We should squeeze the big tobacco for all they're worth.
I mean, honestly, in the room of three distinguished men as we are, who wouldn't release a horrible evil upon the world for $150 million? I'd do it. You know how much stuff I could get tattooed on your foot for $150 million?
Gentlemen, to evil.
To evil. But I do remember thinking at the time that I saw it, because this is like season 11, so okay, it hits our shores 2002. I'm probably smoking by then, and I would have loved tobacco back then. Something that got me eating my vegetables, got me a bit of vitamin A and vitamin C from the tomato, and then
Nicotine.
I don't know, man. Were you really hunting down that vegetable fix?
Mixed with nicotine.
Were you really craving the vitamins and the minerals?
Well, see, here's the thing. I was smoking cigarettes to get nicotine to be cool, and I was avoiding vegetables because they weren't cool. See,
So this way,
yeah.
you could have you could be seen to be eating the vegetables, which weren't cool, but secretly getting the nicotine, which was cool, and no one would know.
Yep. Yep. They'll be like, oh, that Elliot guy just eating his tomatoes like a weirdo.
So uncool. But inside, you'd be laughing, because what they don't know is you were the
I was the coolest person. All these years when I was faking and I was already cool, I could have been uncool.
Yep.
All right, that about. Let's do the questionnaire. Fuck, I feel like I already asked you guys this.
We haven't actually talked about this episode of The Simpsons at all.
We've talked about a lot of things. I can't remember any of them, though.
Do you remember watching this back in the day? Memories of when it aired. What did you think then?
I thought, one day, I'll podcast about this episode.
I do remember singing the whole glove slap thing over and over again, because everyone knows Love Shack. At least if you're 30.
Oh, yeah. When I was a kid, I didn't think of this as the tobacco episode.
Really?
It was the glove slap episode.
Ah.
I feel like that's a stronger premise for the most. Well, it's the funner premise.
Yeah.
Like, the tobacco is a good point, but it's not the fun part you walk away with.
Tobacco's one of those little closed circles, you know?
It's done.
It starts It doesn't start. It starts after the start of the episode. It ends before the end of the episode, and it's closed. So it's like you can almost snip that out of the storyline.
Wow. So like part 1 of this episode is either side of part 2 of this episode,
Like a donut.
but where the donut's shorter at the other end because the whole duel thing at the end gets wrapped up in like 5 minutes. Sorry,
Like
I'm
a donut.
confusing the nobodies again. Is
And
this
we're
an
back.
episode you ever revisited? Could you put an approx play count on this? I'll kick this off probably 20 to 30 times. Throwing to you, Beach.
I will say 800 times. I don't know. It's 50? No. 30? No. 40? No.
How
I don't
many-
know.
Are you narrowing it
Okay,
down?
how many
I can't-
times a year since 2002 do you think you've watched it?
Since 2002.
Yeah, maybe one every 2 years.
Let's
one
say
every
10 times.
Any jokes that you noticed on this viewing and not others? Not really. I guess
Yeah.
we're of all of mature age by the time we would have seen this episode.
Why don't you use more fertilizer? I'm only one man, Mark.
Yeah.
I got that at the time.
Poop joke.
I do really like the Lenny and Carl, like, sending some mail, you know it. I might send some
yeah.
tomorrow. All right. It's like, this is what they do when there's no Homer.
I will point out that Carl, his jumper is off model there, and I found that distracting to the joke. You know, like that time where Scratchy hit the xylophone and
twice.
hit two. Yeah. Anyway,
Wizard did it.
do you see yourself watching this episode again?
Sure. I'd watch it again.
That's sure and
I wouldn't change the channel. You know,
sure, and I wouldn't change the channel. That's the Simpsons Index.
Yeah.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about the wackiness of this episode.
Nuclear power wackiness is what this is. As in, you know, Homer's
Yeah,
like, calls
no,
it a
he's
plant
right.
and is, you know, well, geez, Homer, plutonium, isn't that dangerous? I guess you're right, it's not. And, you know, he tastes it before putting on the field.
it's like that
and,
those 50s test movies, you know?
oh, man, they're so good.
50s
Duck and,
test movies?
duck and cover, nuclear safety, all that sort of stuff.
Oh my god, and I'm such a fan of that South Park volcano episode
Yeah.
where they really explore that, and I haven't
Seen the
myself
original, it's insane.
really explored that. Yeah, really?
When you see the Flash, duck and cover.
I've seen Reefer Madness.
Nice.
Nuclear, yeah, it's really got that sort of nuclear safety, where, why, just 3 drops of nuclear power plutonium will turn your garden into a
Into a hotbed of activity.
beautiful finish.
Up gigantic.
And yeah, that's what it
invisible
does. It
planet.
essentially fuses the tobacco and the tomato and the gummy bears and the candy corns and
Oh, we haven't talked about the tractor bit.
Oh man,
Constantly
Homer
falling
and the
on
tractor
Homer.
bit. What a great
So
reoccurring
Looney
bit.
Tunes.
I know, so Looney Tunes, but I'd laugh every time.
But what about the heart? Did this episode have heart? I guess it didn't.
Not really. Other than we don't want Homer to die, so we're going to run away. It's fine.
There is no good moral to this, and I don't feel like he learned a lesson by the end either.
No, it's just good fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
I wonder if that'll affect my ranking.
I suppose the only lesson here is Southern gentlemen can't aim for shit. Because he hits Homer in the arm. I mean,
Maybe that's how much of a Southern gentleman he is.
he intentionally aimed for the arm.
I say, sir, I know when to hit a man in the arm and when to not.
It's true. Could be. Could be.
Well, I'm convinced. Yeah, it's like
So-
he was just here in the room with us.
Yeah, I know. Bolo tie and all.
All right, getting in the home stretch. Did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons? How's the integrity? Is everyone on point?
Yeah. Homer's a coward, but
Marge is concerned.
Blunt-headed
Lisa's ultra concerned
They
about
all go
the
along with him
environment.
anyway.
about the impact of it all.
But she's ultimately an 8-year-old girl, so she's ultimately weaker in the authority voice, which is why she's like, oh my god, tobacco's really addictive. And
The family's patriarch takes point, even though
Yeah.
she's got the higher moral stance.
any other quotable moments that you want to pull from this episode right now?
No.
All right, guys, let's rank this thing. Pull out your pens and paper and let's go for it. So, what did you guys rank this in the end?
Peter's drawn silver. Elliot's drawn cubic zirconia.
Wow.
I, of course, have drawn the Batman symbol.
which means gold. Shag, so why did you give this a gold?
Or a Batman.
No, we've already established that Batman means gold.
No, I do think it was a gold, actually. I have, there's no real weak points in the episode, not particularly, but it doesn't stand out the way that some of the other episodes we've seen really stood out to me. Like, there's episodes where you got to the end and you just gone, wow, this was amazing. And then there's ones where you get to the end and you're like, there's nothing really wrong with this. I would say this was a 10 out of 10 episode, but without the fireworks and like the American flag falling down and the bald eagle and things. It's a normal 10 out of 10. Not like a magic special 10 out of 10.
Sure, fair enough. It's an A ranking, not an S ranking, in your opinion.
That's it.
BT, what did you think?
I was Gilver the whole way through, pretty much.
Wow.
It was just more reflecting on what I've silvered before that pushed it up to a gold. It's a solid episode. There's a lot of jokes and it all works. It just doesn't have that push up to QZ, I don't think.
So you're talking gold in this one?
Yeah, I reevaluated after writing it down because writing things down is stupid. But I feel like I was between gold and silver the whole time, and then I'm like, no, I'll silver it, and then just on thinking and reflecting of what I've silvered and what I've golded before, I would put this a dull gold if we're splitting, but why not? So it's gold. I would still gold it.
Fair enough. See, whereas for me it was cubic gold, zoning gold, because it was a strong joke episode, but story-wise it was a little stupid. The whole Zorro thing leading to the glove sap thing, leading to the moving out of town, and like Shag, you were saying, you're technically right that it did feel like two episodes where one episode was right in the middle of the two episodes, like there wasn't a real thread between the farm scenes and the movie scenes, but ultimately this episode kept me so entertained that I personally give it a cubic zirconia, and putting it against your two gold, making it a shiny gold, it feels right in this ranking.
So you're giving it cubic zirconia and saying there's literally no better episode than this.
Oh, look,
that's sort
when
of
we're
what
talking
cubic
about
zirconia
second deck,
because there's nothing better than that.
Look, when we're talking about second decade, and I give this a cubic zirconia, I am putting it right against the other episode that me and you gave in the second decade.
This is
it already sounds like you're making excuses.
It's
Shut the fuck up.
worth your while as Mr. Plow.
Me and you both ranked HOMR.
There's literally never been a better Simpsons episode than this. That's sort of what we're saying.
I put this on parallel with HOMR, in that this is a second decade episode which kept me thoroughly entertained the whole time.
You're being very specific.
And didn't shit on the legacy of the show. And
you didn't shit the bed. Platinum medal.
You didn't shit the bed, but you got to work on time.
I do that every day. No one gives me platinum medals.
They're in the mail, man.
Thank God.
Really,
but they're cubic zirconia. They're not much
I think
worth.
you need to go sign for them or something,
All right, so look, we're going to watch a 20th season episode, and
then
we're
awarded
not sure what
cubic
it is.
zirconia.
I totally should.
You're fired.
And that has been my last episode of the Simpsons podcast.
You're a terrible critic. You've got to say things that are either bark or rough.
Oh, Chewy?
This thing looks like it was written by a dog.
Dogs can't podcast, unfortunately.
Woof, 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 woof.
Holy McDonald and
Oh my Colin Farrell.
unequivocally Irish you sound. I'm so convinced.
It's his heritage. This is the only time we do
It's
it.
in his blood.
And I am Elliot J. O'Neill, and I just watched the...
You do a shockingly bad Irish... Sorry. You do a shockingly bad Irishman.
Oi, to be sure to be chic. We just watched 7... Okay.
Please.
Let me try and do an Irish accent for real. Don't laugh at me this time.
I will, I'm sorry.
We just watched season 20, episode 14, In the Name of the Grandfather. Guys, what did you think?
Can I laugh at you now?
Oh, you've been laughing at it. It was a storm to me.
Well, it's a lot like we got the rat caught down the root cellar.
I understand everything that you said.
Yeah, it was a rat caught down the roof cellar. It wasn't complicated.
Is that a Transpotted reference?
No. And that's Scottish.
Have you
Okay,
got a Crank
so-
2 High Voltage reference, Danny, that you'd like
That's American. What the fuck are you doing?
I thought Jason Statham was Irish.
He's English. First appeared in
But
Lock,
you
Stock,
just
and
said
Two
American.
Holy God.
What'd you think, Danny?
I thought the first act being an excuse to get them to Ireland is one of the weaker signs of the Simpsons.
Actually, can we backtrack for a second? Can we summarize this episode before we dive in?
Sure.
Damn.
My turn to summarize the episode. So they go to Ireland and
No, you skipped the whole first act.
you pretty much covered it. They spent the first act covering how they go to Ireland.
Wow.
How? How did they go to Ireland again?
They disappoint Grandpa by getting a jacuzzi. They spend their time in the jacuzzi instead of going to the old folks' home to have him in the three-legged race. And he says, I don't have too many years left, but here's my bucket list. Let's pass on these ones because they're complicated. Oh, let's take you to this bar. Wait, this bar is in Ireland. The Simpsons are going to Ireland. They don't
So
actually
they
say
go
that.
to Ireland
That was
and
exactly it.
after a
That's
night
pretty
of
good.
drinking at the pub that Grandpa Abe Simpson wanted to drink at, because they got too drunk, Homer and Abe find themselves in possession of the bar, and they try to make the bar successful, and it's not, but they discover that there's a niche audience in Ireland for a bar of their caliber in that they can provide a smokeasy. It's illegal in Ireland, and then for some reason Chief Wiggum comes along and tases himself, and then the episode ends.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Because most of the episode
Yeah.
is fine. It's all right. We'll get to ratings later, obviously. But just that last, honest, 10 seconds.
How they got out of the
is
episode
so
made
fucking terrible.
made no fucking sense. Just Chief Wiggum's there all of a sudden, and he does a series of things to hurt himself, and then the episode's over.
Okay, the ending is you violated the law by having cigarette smoking in a pub. But
then Judge Mr. Potato Head comes along.
Which is
Yeah,
weird,
that was
which is
weird.
weird as well. But they're like, hey, but the punishment is deportation. So obviously they go back to Springfield, and that's why we don't see the pub again. That's fine. That works.
Yep.
Yeah. The Mr. Potato Head was weird, and then just the last Chief Wiggum just made no cocking sense.
Yeah, I gotta say, this was an episode where I was laughing less and less as it went on. It was there was a definite graph that I could draw for this episode. I like to make a lot of graphs, and it starts out pretty laugh medium, and then ends up in what the fuckness.
Which is weird. And it's one of those things where you could put almost anything else there, and it'd be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Like, why is Chief Wiggum in Ireland all of a sudden? Because they make the joke of, luckily Ireland has deported all its idiots over to America where they become police officers. It's like, haha.
Yep,
But then
yep.
you don't need Chief Wiggum to show up and accidentally mace himself.
No, okay, seriously, in 2 minutes, how would you wrap up that story where, that's a fair enough plot point. Grandpa and Homer start up a smoking pub that is technically illegal. They get in trouble with Irish authorities. How do they get deported back home?
Deportated?
Well,
I was trying to
look,
gloss over it.
there might be an answer, but the real answer is you shouldn't have taken 28 minutes to get to the end of your story, you know? Shouldn't have left yourself with only 2 minutes to wrap that up.
Fair enough. So, was the jacuzzi bit too elongated? Because I liked everything with the jacuzzi bit until it got to the bit where Grandpa smashes the jacuzzi, all the Simpson family fall out of the jacuzzi, and they flap around like the fish.
But they do that for about 10 seconds too long. It's a 15-second bit, and it's 10 seconds too long.
Absolutely. It's hard to draw the line on those gags, like the Family Guy thing where Peter trips over and he goes, ah.
Well, it's the kind of thing where if overextending the joke is the joke, then it's alright, obviously. But even with the...
It was alright once,
Yeah,
you
they've
know.
recalled it so many times now, it's stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, up until that point, it was okay. You had another appearance of Raphael.
Yeah, he was very different, especially for a season 20 episode where his character was a lot more solidly animated by this point.
And a lot younger than Raphael's characters usually are. And ask Carl, so what's the jacuzzi like? He says, it's like getting a back rub from orgasms. That's cool.
I love that bit. And I thought the premise of getting them to Ireland was like a bit lofty, but like fair enough. You know, Grandpa feels neglected. I've got a bucket list. I've got some things I want to do in life. That led to a nice little couple of sight gags with his bucket list of things to do. And like the Simpsons being in Ireland, I don't think was a bad premise at all. I don't think they did enough with it.
Do anything with it. It's like, the family goes sightseeing and they go to the Giant's Causeway, which turns into a Cubit bit for some reason. And then...
I can't decide if I like that bit or not.
I don't.
You don't?
I'll help you out. I don't.
I do. Chag, you're the deciding vote. Do we as a collective like this bit or not?
Hey man, it doesn't have to be like that. You're allowed to have your own opinion.
Yeah, that's true. But, you know, if we're going to average it out...
Look, I think it... I don't think it was funny. I think, first off, the referencing a 20-year-old game. Second off, there was no purpose to the joke. There was no punchline. There was just, this is a thing you might remember.
And it's not like Cuban, it's an Irish thing. Okay, I get it from that angle as well.
Yeah, didn't go anywhere, didn't lead anywhere, so it didn't add anything to the storyline.
The Giant's Causeway does kind of look like a Cubit field, but that's really rough.
That's as far as the link goes, though. Yeah, Giant's Causeway is a thing that's in Ireland. Yeah, kind of looks like hexagons. This doesn't mean... I mean, the Cubit bit didn't have a punchline. It was the punchline.
Yeah, that this thing kind of looks like Cubit, and then here's the Simpsons family doing Cubit.
That's it. It didn't add anything to watch more than like 1 second of it. You could have had that on a poster and not taken up any screen time.
Fair enough.
And it didn't go anywhere.
All right. I did like the Blarney Stone bit though, with Bart replacing the Barney Stone with his butt painted in grey, and then Irish Nelson carving his name in the Blarney Stone, going hoo hoo.
Objection! You meant to bend over backwards and kiss the Blarney Stone.
Is that what you meant to do?
That's what you meant to do.
Did you do that?
No, I've never been backwards. I just know that.
Oh, okay. Oh man, that's the one thing we didn't talk about in the last episode. Bart's red hair.
Bart's red hair.
Oh, very brief.
Colored hair.
Yeah.
Sort of suggests that he dyes his hair regularly.
No, he
bleaches it.
Yeah, he gets enough sun as a young boy should.
Should they?
I want to say like blonde hair, but really it's like skin hair.
Yeah.
He was born with skin hair.
Man, have you ever seen anyone in the wild with skin hair? Like hair the same color as their skin?
No, I've not seen that. Have you?
No, I'm thinking of asking my hairdresser that next time. Can you make my hair the same color as my skin?
Just shave your head.
I do that.
I know.
Checkmate.
You've already got it.
Tangents. So like all in all, I guess like this episode like was a classic, you know, The Simpsons go somewhere, but it sort of not only took a long way to get there with sort of uneven jokes, and then it came out of it with a very uneven story. So
yeah, just on uneven jokes, they're like, Marge says something like, well, if you don't like Belgium, I'll take away your Tintin, and then
that was a weird
and then
bit,
it has Bart holding a
Yeah.
Tintin
for like 20
way
seconds.
too long. It's like it was a bad joke, and now you're dwelling on it. It's just,
yeah, so they got in there on a sort of like okay enough premise with bad enough jokes, and they got out of there with a bad premise with bad jokes. So I'm guessing that's why this episode falls short with me, at least. Like, and I liked the premise of Homer and Grandpa again, you know, a Homer and Grandpa story.
oh, that's a nice
There's
bond.
potential for heart there, but and they start up a pub that they accidentally get drunkenly signed up to. Like, that's all fair enough points, but and even them starting up a smokeasy, and it just came out of the story with such weakness. Like, yeah, of course what they were doing was illegal, because like the anti-smoking in pubs laws get passed, and it's meant to be a thing that covers all pubs. You know, there's not a pub that can have, you know, a smoking pub exemption. No. Those laws, especially in Sydney, got passed where you have to go outside to do that shit
This
now.
idea came from Mo, who ran a speakeasy that also looked like a pet shop during the beer baron. This man knows how to run a speakeasy.
And Mo, who got shipped there via crate because he didn't want to pay for the airplane ticket or whatever.
No, that's just how Delta flies coach. That's literally the joke.
Oh, that's right. Okay, fair enough.
But I mean, it was just, you know, you have Back to the Beer Baron episode, you have the speakeasy, and they do it cleverly, and it's really cool. And this was just smoking, and of course, anyone who walks in is going to notice that.
Yeah, true. And it only seemed to, the whole smokeasy thing only served to serve a couple of gags. Not even that.
I just think it might actually be like a big thing in Ireland where they have 100% ban on smoking everywhere. Kind of like us, but with less dickishness.
Yeah, well, I mean, now we've got a certain dickishness, and it's, you know, kind of funny me coming from the last episode going, yeah, smoking's bad, and to this episode going, but, you know, there's certain areas where smokers are justified, and I think pubs is one of them.
One of those things where smoking is bad, but it's still legal. So to encroach upon someone's ability to do something that is in fact legal is kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, either ban it or don't. And I say that as a non-smoker.
And as a recently quit smoker, I say that too, is that, like, I think if pubs want to have an indoor smoking policy, I think they should. And, you know, I'm a person that struggled hard with quitting smoking. And, you know, if it was as easily available as quitting indoors, maybe I'd break my thing. But I think if I was to go to a smoking indoors pub, I'd be, you know, well within my rights to do that. Is this getting too political for the Simpsons
Possibly.
Index?
Let's just say
I think you're taking a sidebar.
It's an assault on personal liberty and leave it at that. Or just edit it out, whatever.
And we're back.
Welcome back to a libertarian's views on the Simpsons. We like the bit where they were eating meat. No, let's do the thing.
What's left?
So look, the storyline was an A line throughout, no B lines or anything.
No, B line was the Marge, Bart, and Lisa visiting various locations.
It only really happened at the Cubit thing it only really happened at the Cubit joke and then the Blarney Stone joke, really.
But that's technically a B story.
Technically a B story. Okay, so technically a B story in this one. Have you seen this episode before, guys? Shag, I'll start with you.
I don't think I have.
Yeah?
I have, maybe only once or twice. Twice max, I would say.
Yeah, so, is this an episode you'd like to watch again?
It really sums it up.
Okay, one at a time. Okay, let me hear from you first, the guy who said...
As excited as I am to be talking about this novel experience for me, for seeing this exciting episode of The Simpsons.
When The Simpsons goes to Ireland.
Yeah. It is really predictable. I mean, you could have given me the pitch. Guess what, guys? This time The Simpsons go to Ireland. And I'd just gone, what? Okay, never mind. Next episode. I don't know. It had a couple of fun gags, but it was really just everything it said in the sketch, in the pitch.
Yep.
No, I'm not watching it again.
Fair enough. Paige.
If the only thing else on TV is sport, assuming one of those sports is not women's volleyball.
All right, the Olympics is not on. You have two channels that are working on your TV right now.
Uh-huh.
One of them is The Simpsons, and it's playing this episode. The other is the other fucking Channel 10 sport that plays fucking cars drive around in a circle.
I'll watch this.
This feels like bent statistics, man. Like, you're asking questions.
I'm giving this episode the best possible scenario
Those
that it
are
can
the
be
big
viewed
issues.
in.
If they have fencing on the Olympics, I'll watch that because that's interesting.
Yeah, fair enough.
Taekwondo or gymnastics where they hold the ball up with their foot. I'll watch that.
Yeah.
How do they do that? That's amazing.
Taekwondo ball, I believe it's called.
Different things.
How wacky was this episode? On the Simpsons wackiness scale, I guess.
Not terribly.
No, I guess the wackiness came where Mo was delivered by Crate, where Mr. Potato Head was the judge, where Chief Wiggin came in,
like fish.
where people flop around like fish, and where... Yeah, so...
on the fringes. It was not a core driving aspect of the episode.
But I guess those wacky points were at horrible points in the episode, like where it wanted...
To end it on that point, which is... it's all I can think about. It's fucking terrible.
Yeah, it really does, and it lends itself to the thing where, like, an episode is worse if it ends better, even if it started stronger than if it started worse and ended better.
That's what stays with you. I think we're all okay with the episode until that point. We're like, why this and not anything else?
What? Like it pitched to a really good episode. All right, so the Simpsons get a hot tub, and there's some really funny things with Ned Flanders, and he puts a little fucking protector mustache thing on, and then shut up, man. And then they go to Ireland.
Shut up! I've already financed this episode. Let's do it.
All right, but in the end,
yeah.
Fuck, we're out of financing and time. Shit. So Mr. Potato Head is the court judge, and Chief Wiggum saves the day.
Have the interns do this.
Totally. It's a have the interns do the episode. So where did the heart of this episode lie? Did it get you in the heart?
Grandpa, but not too much. Like, there's a little bit of it, but not really a lot of things.
No, and the episode doesn't resolve, or complications of the episode don't arise from Grandpa and Homer's relationship.
Yeah. So,
which I guess puts it at a lower point than the other episode we watched.
It's as emotional as ticking something off a list.
Wow.
Which, if you're me, I love ticking things off lists. So, that's pretty big. But I feel like because that's essentially what it is. He wanted to do this. There are a lot of other things on his bucket list that he intentionally skipped. It's...
Yeah. All right. Well, getting in the home stretch, does this feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
No, not really. Yes, I don't know. It was just it felt like an episode of The Simpsons Go To.
Yeah. When you say it felt like an episode, it felt like an episode with a capital E. Like on this week's exciting Simpsons episode, the Simpsons deal with blank.
Here's this famous thing of this country. Here's this famous thing.
So one thing I want to quickly deal with, I don't actually know the movie reference, but the guys from Worst Episode Ever. So the bit in the episode where the guy is like singing to a girl in a flat 3 stories above, and he's got his acoustic guitar there. I don't know you, but I love you. Apparently that's a reference to a movie I've never seen.
Cold.
And then her boyfriend comes out of the flat and goes, "Stop sending her pianos!" And then...
What movie is it?
It's a movie where some dude keeps playing songs to someone in a 3rd flat, and he keeps sending her pianos.
What movie?
I don't know.
Find the fuck out.
And we're going to find this fucking... Once. The film is called Once. It's a 2007 Irish musical romance film written and directed by John Carney.
Okay.
A 30-something busker performs with his guitar on Grafton Street, blah, 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 blah. Girl something, he sends pianos to her room. And anyway, that's what the thing was referring to. Cool. And apparently that's a funny joke if you've seen the movie called Once.
Once just makes me think of Once by Pearl Jam. So.
Once upon a time.
And we're back.
So we're almost in the home stretch of this episode. Are there any other quotable moments you want to mention?
Dairy air. The name of the airline was Derry.
It sure was.
That's a pretty good joke,
It is.
right?
That's why I wrote it down.
All right, guys. Let's get out our bits of paper and our texters and write our ranks. Let's rank this thing. You fucker. So, just to speed you up, I ranked this episode of Bronze. Beach ranked it a cunt. I'm not sure what that means.
I didn't rank it that. I just wrote that word down.
And Danny ranked it the Batman symbol.
Which we've already established.
Which...
cubic zirconia.
Yeah. So, Danny, why did you give this the cubic zirconia? All right, so I ranked it a bronze because I thought, even though there were some weak story points, there were enough good jokes in this episode to keep it afloat. Danny, what'd you rank it, buddy?
I ranked it bronze as well, because even though it had some funny gags in it, some one-liners and punchlines, and enjoyably wacky. The first act where suddenly the Simpsons end up in X country for blank reason is the most overdone trope in the Simpsons as a whole. 600 episodes and 599 of them.
The Simpsons are going to Delaware.
Yeah, for real. The Simpsons.
I do hate how it's like when you're watching an episode and it's like, wait, where does this episode go? Oh, that's right, and they do this. Oh, and then they do this, and they do this. Oh, and then they go to fucking X country.
Yeah, it's really, it's always out of left field. Like the whole first act, I mean, a bunch of different things happened in the one first act, and then they all get snipped out. So suddenly we're in Ireland for an Ireland story, and so it's a bronze because despite the good gags, it was a terrible. Beach. I think you wrote down right after all. What do you think, man?
I'm giving this a participant. It exists. That's all it does.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I can't argue with him. That's a solid answer.
I mean, I couldn't quote you a single line without looking at my notes.
Elliot, go.
Oh,
Quick.
Oh my god, there's Yupricons. Bluetooth, Instagram followers.
That's not even what they say.
I know, but it's the essence of what they say.
It's the essence, but again, the essence is just kind of existence. That's what this episode does.
No, and that's fair enough. And I think when you even out our rankings, a dull bronze is a pretty good rank for this one. A dull cunt. A dull cunt is what this episode
I
deserves.
just body to it for fun. So.
This has been episode 14 of The Simpsons Index. I have been your host, Elliot J. O'Neill, and that guy over there is...
I don't know. What is living? I don't know, man.
Nod. And that guy...
Also starring Pamela Hayden, Tress MacNeil, and Carl Weidergott.
He is the essence of those three.
Thank you also starring. I loved you in that thing I saw you in.
Is there any other? It might be Weidergott?
Weidergott.
I choose to believe it's Wienergott. Even though it has a D.
And what, the D is one of
Has a
those
very
silent
obvious
Ds
D.
that means N?
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair enough. Can't argue with
Just enjoy it.
the cold embrace
I don't
of
want to
logic.
argue with Carl Wienergott.
Thank you for watching episode 14. If you've joined us at this point,
Watch
we'd
episode 5.
watch episode... No, don't watch because it's an audio program. Listen to episode 5. That's the episode we're most proud of. And look, we don't normally do plugs and stuff on this, but look, check out our Series Day +1. And also, hit us up on Twitter at Simpsons Index. We really want to hear your ideas for playlists for these. Have you got an idea for episodes from Decade 1, Decade 2, Decade 3 that you'd like to recommend?
Homer Jobs.
Homer Jobs. Can you pick 3
Homer Jobs from each individual decade. What about Bart Scandals? What about Lisa Rebellions? Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I know I want to make a link between Lisa the Vegetarian from season 7 with a later episode from season 20 plus called Lisa the Veterinarian. How do you say that episode, Danny?
Oh, I don't. Is there a Simpsons episode that syncs up to a Pink Floyd album? We will watch it and
We
critique.
will find the fuck out.
Dude, it's the movie, but you gotta watch it backwards.
There are a lot of Floyd references throughout The Simpsons, so...
Relax.
No,
Okay,
no,
Toad, Homer licks Toads and then listens to the radio and Marge says, hello.
Hello.
Is there anybody in there? Mr.
Yep.
Burns collects garbage and says, shine on, you crazy diamond.
Really?
Yeah. In the episode where Mr. Burns goes bankrupt and doesn't know the difference between ketchup, catsup, ketchup, catsup.
There was one episode that referred to that. Something catsup will always be Hans Catsup. Homer
I
said
don't know,
it.
maybe us watching the Tomaco episode where he's like,
Just
this
a second
tomato will
ago.
be Heinz ketchup.
Yes.
This tomato will be Hans catsup.
Oh, I'm going to edit that seamlessly into the previous episode.
Will
and
you?
this is not just an editing joke. And it will be not undercut by me like fading up the end theme song that will eventually like cut out this whole
And
post-amble.
we're out.
Is that what you call like when you
Post-amble, the opposite of a preamble.
Yeah.
Preamble, a proamble?
Pro-amble. Thank you for checking out the Simpsons Index podcast. Don't forget to go to www.thesimpsonsindex.com for the spreadsheet and information about upcoming episodes. And I'm never tapping out.